Hi there, folks. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Okay, we're picking up where we left off on the 1986 Alumacraft. Last video, you saw us get all this put back together, and it's ready to rock and roll. Now I'm going to show you a few other things. I did pull one wheel bearing off. In this video, the goal is to get this boat in the lake this video, and I should be able to achieve it. I pulled that wheel bearing off just because I wanted to see what it looked like. Fortunately, this is about the first amazing. This is amazing. I'm going to say it out loud now. This is the first boat trailer I've drug home. And keep in mind, this hasn't been on the water for a long time. Been sitting a long time. And we'll know when we pull this other wheel bearing off because I got to check it yet. But there's not a rusty bearing in there. I can actually clean and repack and we're going to be golden. Show you a couple other things that I need to do. This here piece right here where my foot's at should be hanging straight down, not kicked out like that. We got to fix that. On the other side where the tree crashed into the boat, ba-bam, it had to be a good sized tree or a decent sized tree that fell from a high distance because it did some serious damage to the trailer, and I'm going to show you why. See this dent right here? Big crease. That happened from hitting right here. But fortunately, this cushioned it. And this piece, I'm going to try to get in here. Got to get clear down here on the ground for you. But that piece right there, see that roller? That's not right. That has actually been torn loose. This weld has been torn loose somewhere in that vicinity. We're going to pull that off, straighten it out, weld it up, and get it snuck back underneath the boat here. I think the fact that it did break is what saved the bottom of the boat. The bottom of the boat, I can see where the marks of where they used to be, and there's no damage there, which is amazing. It's no big heavy dent or crease or anything of that nature, which completely surprises me. So I'm happy to see that. So the hull, other than that big dent right there, the hull seems to have done pretty good, and we won't know the full story until we get it out on the water and see what it's going to do. We got to get trailer lights on. These might work. Maybe not. They seem pretty. I've got another set of trailer lights. Let's put it that way. So we can put another set of trailer lights on here and move forward. I think the wiring probably is okay. It's all running through tubing, so it's all enclosed. We'll have to plug it in and see if we get juice back here. That's the plan. I've been pushing myself a little hard lately, and I need to just pace myself a little better than I have been. Especially when it gets hot out. All right, let's get after it right now. All righty, folks, we did pull the wheel bearings off the second side right here, and I've got them in the solvent tank. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll let the pump run and just run down inside the hole here, and that way I don't have to spend a lot of time scrubbing. We'll let this capillary action, I don't know what it's called, we'll just let the action of the waterfall of solvent erode the grease away while I do other things. Then I'll come back and do the final touches. So this one here had a boat winch that was rusty, crusty, and kind of nasty in here, and the strap was all just bad. So last night, it's one of those things you do before you call it an evening. You just say, well, I'm going to take my wire wheel that off and shoot some paint on it before I go to bed. That way tomorrow night it'll be ready. So I got another one of these boat winch straps here that we're going to wind on. And this is a 20-footer. So she's plenty long. I want to wind it on in such a fashion that this tag is down. So we'll just run it through here. You don't have to run it through there. I'm just doing that to keep my orientation correct. These have a loop in them, like such. Now I've seen this done more than one way, but I think this way that this one was done was actually probably pretty good. You don't want to run the bolt through here and then the strap's coming through here. We're gonna trap this one. So we'll put the bolt through here like this. So in this situation, we've got a metal pin I'm sticking in here that was in here before. We don't even have to have this bolt tight to do what we're doing here. So see how that's trapped now? And just do it like that. Let's see if we can drag this boat forward a little bit here. All right, we got that on, secured. We have our safety chain right here. Let's get back to some solvent tank activities. I know there's a few of you out there that are still against one of these here bearing packers because you think, oh, I'll just do it the old way and mash it through the bearing by hand. You can do that. And I'm not going to discourage you from doing that. But I'm just saying that this is a little bit of a time saver when it comes to packing bearings. And as you can see, it gets through all the races. Just like that, we're done. Now I can take the old, I've already put a bunch of grease inside here. Smear around a little bit back here. Bittersweet. The bearings were so good, didn't need to do anything to them but just repack them, which is awesome. The nice thing is, a bad thing is I didn't get to use my bearing driver, but I will get to use it because it makes things so much nicer. I will get to use it to drive my seal in at least. Does a nice job of driving it down perfectly flush. You could use a 2x4 or any other thing. Get rid of the excess off of here. Reach down, grab a little grease from the inside, lubed up that seal. We're ready to go back on the trailer, baby. The rest is pretty simple. Just slide your housing back on, rotate it as you're trying to get the seal up and over, like that. I've already put some grease on the inside bearing here. Shove that in. Then we'll put our washer and nut on. The washer, the old castellated nut. Now there's multiple ways of doing this. People can teach different methods. I like to bring it in so it's snug, so there's a lot of resistance there. And I'll back it off to the next hole that lines up. And that's, that's just how I do it. Everybody has their own techniques. You can follow mine or not. To date, I've never smoked a bearing on the highway, so do with that information what you will. Well, that cotter pin was done. That was its last bend. We need to get a new one. Luckily, I can go to the cotter pin store here. I can go get some of that. Sorry for this little intermission, but Mercury's out here and he wanted me to show you how he can apparently play with a flower pot. But I know he wants to throw a frisbee, so let's throw a frisbee. Are you ready? Let's get it. Don't you miss, buddy. You're on camera. Nice. Way to go, buddy. Should we show the audience one more time? You're making me dizzy. Come here. Bring it here. Come here. Hey, bring it here. There you go. He's a good boy. You sit. Yeah, right on my shoe. There you go. Are you ready? Do your circles. Are you ready? Do your circles. You always do circles. Not this time? Okay. Hard as I can there. Get after it, buddy. He watches it. He angles it. He catches it. Good job. Okay, you want to do 3 for 3? You can usually do a whole bunch of them in a row. As long as the thrower knows what he's doing. Come on. I know you got energy, buddy. Bring it here. There we go. That's my boy. That's my boy. Way to go, Mercury. Hey, good news. We're working on a boat that has a Mercury on it. There you go. There's your circles. Ready? Go get it. Oops. I didn't throw it quite high enough, and you ran slow, buddy. You ran slow, and you know it. Sometimes when he misses, he'll just shake his head with it because he's frustrated. He didn't do it that time. Well, let's do it one more time. Come on. Now we're just going to do 3 out of 4 is all we got. You drop it? You don't drop it? Come on, give it to me. Hey, get over here, goofball. Get over here. You're such a goofball. Where'd you get that stick? Ready? Here we go. There we go, a little higher for you. There we go. Got a little bit of a tailwind, so it drops it. Good job. Good job. Okay, Dad's got to get back to work. All right. Hey, you gonna say bye to everybody? Say bye. Is that almost sad or what? Take a break, bud. We'll be back and do it later. The good news is the cotter pins I have are the same cotter pins that I sell with the old prop kit, a shear pin kit for some old Johnsons. You guys haven't seen Toast for a while. He's just been hanging around like an old cat. All right. That's in. Bearing buddy. Install. Rubber hamburger might be a little light, but we got it in. And what fell out of the sky just then? You guys guessed it. Never seized for the lug nuts. These are a little rusty, so I sprayed them with some PB Blaster. They just backed right off. They didn't look like they'd back right off, but and it was kind of cool because I let it soak on PB overnight, and the threads were actually wet all the way to the back of the nut. That's always nice to see, because it got the penetration it needed. Now, while the wheel's still off, and it doesn't matter on or off, we're going to get the old grease gun on here. And these things are spring loaded in here. So you bring them out so the spring is collapsed a little bit, and as you roll it, they'll work its way in. You don't want to pump it until it blows the seal out of the back. I've had mixed emotions. You guys know this if you watch my channel long enough about bearing buddies, whether I like them or hate them, but they were on here. Bearings are in good shape. We'll reinstall them. Yep, there we go. We just jumped backwards a ways. Spring is collapsed. Not completely, but enough. These could use a little bath themselves. This one's weather checked pretty good. This one should be replaced. It's going to hold it up for a minute here at least. Good enough till we get the wrench on it. Drop her down, Sam. Can do. At least we know we can roll this one around without it destroying itself now. It wasn't going to destroy itself before because it had plenty of good grease in there. But now, I have a high confidence. Now I'll put this old grody cap back on my clean bearing buddy, just so people think it's just a piece of junk. Nobody's going to try to steal my bearing buddies if they look like that. folks. We got you a little bit of time lapse before the battery went dead on the camera. I only had 35% when I started. I knew it was going to die partway through. But I was up at 4:30 a.m., couldn't sleep. Thought, well, let's just get out here and get some more work done. So we shot back the whole floor out. And believe it or not, it's all shot backed out up here as well. It's only going to get so clean. There's a lot of rot here and there. That's fine. The other thing I discovered here, and I don't know how well this is going to work. Actually, I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'll put you on the car right here. So I want to try something. Now the power wires, the insulation is just gone. This is bare wire right here. It's rotted off. But if I can get this deployed, let's see here. How does this normally, this is just a rocker on out there, ain't it? Yep. Type situation. Okay, we got that. I'm just kind of curious how the foot pedal is going to work. I think this might have had rubber on it one time, maybe not. Oh yeah, oops. Oh, it went one way. Well, it seems to work. Nice thing is none of this rotates up here. It just goes through. There's an arrow on top. So, and the cables seem to be functioning. So I was kind of worried because the cables in here are a little bit, some of the insulation's gone off the outside of the actual cables, but the cable's look in fantastic shape. But let me bring you up in here. I'm going to show you something a little closer. Wanted to answer that question before I did anything else. The two power wires right here come right in here. Looks like a positive red here and a negative black, and they're just right here. The rest of the wiring on this unit looks like it's okay. It looks like it has a switch here maybe that if you step on it hard enough, it goes. But we also have off. So I think what I want to do is I want to replace this wiring here. I've got some more. I think I have some more. Let's go look. Let's go look together. Have an ability to create some wiring. This might be a little bit too much effort for not much reward. Yeah. There's not a lot of black there, but that might be enough. Yeah. I think we got enough there, possibly. And this may be, this is actually really good wire. This is the actual wire used on the boat, and it's, I think it's 8 gauge, I'm pretty sure, and it's got siliconized wire. It's very flexible, and it's 10 coated. Not that 10 coating is a, in this application, for the length of time I'm going to be using it, necessary evil, but we'll take this out and leave it out on the boat here. We'll put some ends on it, and because the battery, let me show you, it's getting dark out here, so I'm losing my light quickly. Down in here, this flap of carpet right here used to be lined with wood. The wood's all gone, but there's still room enough to put a battery down in there. I've got a couple of lipos charging up. Pull down to unlock. Oh, so this is like right here. I think this normally would have had a rope or something that you'd pull on just to, right now it's locked. Okay. So now you guys know me well enough by now. And if you're new to the channel, thanks, welcome aboard. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. So we're gonna take this out on a maiden voyage, but I'm doing some work here, and I'm not trying to restore this boat as of yet. We vacuumed it out so I can crawl around in there and not get covered in all kinds of, let's just call it, nastiness. And I've got it been parked halfway in and out of the shop for about almost a week here. We're coming up on a few days. We'll go ahead and pull the cover back over here so the dew doesn't get all over everything. This part here I'll be fine with getting wet. We'll just pull that back over here like that. And we'll pay attention to that tomorrow when it's daylight out, more daylight. It's, what do we got? It's 8 o'clock, so I'm out here a little bit later. than I anticipated, but I did get the fuel tank pulled out. The fuel tank is over here. It is a 13-gallon fuel cell. Probably has about 3 inches of liquid in the bottom. That smells a lot like deck stain and shellac, and it's just not good anymore. I had a fan in here blowing all day because everything under here was, let's just say it was wet. It was a lot of moisture trapped underneath that fuel tank. I also haven't taken it completely out of the boat yet. I've removed the fuel oil blender. We're going to set that over here. That's not going back in. What's it called? Auto blend. But that's where you'd put your two-stroke, and it has this fancy cap here that's made of duct tape, and it actually has a handle. It's designed to be taken out relatively easy. It's got a handle built into it. But it also had a mount. Where did my mount go? Did I already toss it? I think it's in here already. We pulled the doors off of it. The track's out of it. The track just basically lifted out. It's normally riveted down. The track just lifted out. And we had to drill the rivets out right back here. There was 3 riveted holes, or rivets right here that held the, oh, here's the bracket for the oil tank right there. It was. And see how it's just strapped in so you can actually lift it out. This was the tank strap here that actually went back in there like that, and it's set right like this. And it trapped the tank in. It had another strap on the floor. There again, that just lifted out. Got the battery box here. Actually, I'll probably reuse it and set the battery box back in there and strap it down. But I've got my big red, I forget how many gallon this is. How many gallon is it? Man, this has gotten dusty, dirty. It was out in the lean-to in the John boat for a while. 12 gallon. So this is a 12-gallon tank. That was a 13-gallon tank. Very comparable. This tank will slide part way back in the old hole here is the goal. I'll get rid of the old hoses there. There's a fill hole and the vent hose. I'll just cut them off. They're not going to be used anymore. I may, if I ever do put this tank back in, I could clean it out and might stick it back in. But those fuel lines are going to need to be replaced. They're all dried and cracked and nasty. So I'm going to run off what the tank I've been running this engine off of is that tank anyway. It's mixed with 2-stroke AMS oil. Some good oil in there. 50-to-1 mix. That's what will stick back in here. But nice thing is with that out of the way, I can shove that back a little bit. I got plenty of room for my battery to shove back right in here and strap it down. So I won't take up all my deck space, which is fine, which is nice. We're going to go ahead and pull these aluminum pieces out. They're not serving any purpose. I don't have any of the, I've got some of the stands for it, but they're all worn out and they are gnarled. They gave it up a while ago. So this, see the bushing that would go down in there is all cracked and gnarled up, and then this top had broken off, it looks like, at some point in time in history. So, and then that knob's not supposed to be at an angle like that. It should be sticking straight out. So it's at a hard time. And that might have happened when the tree limb hit down in here somewhere. Other pieces of debris of stuff might have hit it. But I tell you what, if you guys haven't done this before, if you've got something wet like this and you want to dry it out quick, or during the one day that it's been sitting in here, and it's been a good drying day today, even though it wasn't in the sun, had this on low, just blowing across this area, and that carpet is bone dry now. There's not a damp spot on it. It dried it out really well. Now, did it dry out all the wood underneath? Probably not, but it's dry enough that I can work in there and not get wet pants or, you know, be kneeling down on wet carpet and all that fun stuff. I got most of the sump back here vacuumed out because it was had a bunch of garbage in it. The bilge, I should say, the sump, the bilge, and I want to make sure that is cleaned up. And I will probably actually take the garden hose and put it back there, put the boat plug in, turn the bilge pump on, and make sure this thing will bilge. Because I don't know the condition of the rest of the boat, and if water is getting in, I want to be able to get the water out. There's no obvious signs that the boat should be leaking, but we do have and I honestly, I've got the tracker that I haven't played around with at all, but you got the, what do you want to call it here? Here's your hole. That'll be above the water line typically. That'd be where you could pump out your, what do you want to call it? The old, I wonder how you fill it up. The live well. So what I'm going to do, we can uncover this part way right here, because I want to dry out some of the stuff in the front here as well overnight. Be a good night to dry it out, because I'm not going to be able to get a lot of work done tonight. I've still got this board here. I'm going to vacuum it off. This board goes in the middle to cover up that tunnel piece where your ski storage would be, or other miscellaneous hiding stuff. But we're getting there. What I'm saying is we're getting there. Just getting it clean is a big step forward, to be honest with you. We'll stick this fan right here in the boat. I'm going to aim it so it kind of blows. My goal is to blow up into that area, because I'm going to be laying underneath there tomorrow, searching for that tachometer wire, and be crawling around up front, messing with the battery. Goal and plan. Well, the goal is to get this on the water and test out the tower of power here. The plan is, once I get that accomplished, I want to be able to gut it. Because what we got now is a bunch of carpet on top of a bunch of rotted wood, and the rotted wood is not going to get any better with time. But if I get all the carpet out and all the foam out of here, that way if it does get wet in here again, it's just wet aluminum. And nothing else is getting damaged or rotten or mildewing or making a mess. And I can tip it up, and right now it's just a good place to hang this motor, this outboard, until I decide what the next steps are. Tomorrow night, I'm going to drill the 1964 hull and see if there's moisture in the foam on it. If there is, then I'll figure out what my next moves are. And I will fill you guys in on what those next moves will be. So what I'm going to need me is an eyelet that'll hold an 8-gauge wire on this end and a little tiny end on here that fits on the trolling motor pedal part. And as you can see, this will be just much too large. And I don't have any. Oh, wait. What's this? Oh. I'm always picking up little stuff here and there. Oh, that would be the perfect thing. Look at that. Is that 8? Nope. That is much smaller than 8. Alrighty, folks, we've got a little more work done. I wanted to share with you what I did to the trolling motor. I don't need to uncover the top. Let's get you sitting right here, maybe. Oh, the foot pedal's on the floor. Can I pick it up by its wire? Sure, why not? It's brand new. So the battery is actually in here. Doggone it. It's actually in here, right there. I also put a 50 amp breaker, circuit breaker, marine grade circuit breaker on it, so you could disengage it, engage it. I found this wire on Amazon. There'll be a link to the description. It's 8-gauge marine grade wire that has it's a 2-wire housing, and all these I'll have a link in the description for all these connectors and stuff as well, if you want to, if you got something you need to upgrade, for instance. So got those in place, connected, nice tidy. Reclamp this thing down around here. That helps keep a strain relief on the wire. But check it out. I click the pedal, click it here. We got speedage. And we can go, this will be high. This thing all goes all the way down to off. So if you do this, it won't do anything. Turn it up low speed. So the cool part is the old trolling motor works. And yeah, this battery is just going to rest under here underneath this flap of carpet here that used to have wood. No longer has wood. So that's up and going. This one here looks like you pull this to unlock. Still got grease in it. That's cool. Oops, I went too far. There we go. And I'm guessing this will just lock back down. Then it's got this guy here that looks like it folds over the rod to keep it from bouncing and deploying accidentally on the highway. All right. Yeah, we have some different connectors here we bought. Wiring, obviously that white wire. Like I said, a link will be in the description. Comes with heat shrink, which is nice. I also used my, we'll put that away now. I used the crimper for the heavier duty stuff. I got this little crimper I bought. I'll see if I can find one on Amazon and put you a link to that. It's kind of nice because you can spring load. You can put your stuff in there, hit this side with a hammer, you know, medium, light to medium to moderate amount, whatever it takes to get a good crimp. If you can pull on the wire and not pull it out, you probably got a halfway decent crimp. I used to be, and still am, a big proponent of solder. Picking up the shop as we're talking. And, but I don't get carried away with solder on connections that may or may not be temporary, as it were. Now I use the heat gun to shrink all my stuff. A lot of people like to use lighters and stuff like that nature. I prefer to use the heat gun because the flame, you can get too close, you can melt, you can overheat it, so to speak. Okay. All right, next step. Let's get down here. I'm gonna get underneath the boat trailer here, the boat on the trailer, and this roller here that is like torn loose. We're gonna get some. We're gonna unbolt it with the U-bolts here, and see if I can massage it back into place, and then weld it up. That will be the plan. Let's see if the impact's got enough ugga-dugga in it to remove those nuts. Hopefully it does. I don't want to cut the U-bolts. I like to reuse them just because I don't want to. I'm not looking to invest a crazy amount in everything until, and you know me, I'll go all in until I realize that it's going to be a keeper. And I'll actually invest a lot even if I'm going to sell it, but I also want to make sure I get my money back. But I also don't want to sell anything to anybody that I'm not worried that I'd be worried about it failing on them. Here's the box. I'll give you an up-close shot of this. Looks like this was Red Wolf. Auto Accessories World, get what you want. Okay. Well, mainly I want to get what I pay for. So, but that 8-gauge wire should handle a 50 amp draw, which this one probably won't draw 50 amps, but you size your breaker to the cable, or your breaker needs to be smaller than what the cable can handle. This comes with a couple of crimps in copper, not tin coated. I use tin coated ones on mine. Waterproof, ignition protected, 50 amp. So that's the breaker. Reset it, just do that. Now I have on my Minn Kotas taken the time to put, this might sound a little crazy, but I put one of these on both sides of the battery. So the negative and the positive pass through a breaker. Usually the positive one is the one that'll break if it's under too much load. For instance, I had some of these in 30 and 40 amp on my boats, and when I go to wide open on the trolling motor, it'll trip the 30 amper because it's drawing more than that. I actually just had it trip a 40 amper. That's why I bought a couple extra of these, because I'm going to replace the positive side with the 50 amp so it don't break on me while I'm underway. But you want to protect the breakers there to protect you from smoking the wire. So an 8-gauge wire should handle this 50 amp stranded. I looked it up. It seemed like it was within the range. So that's what I'll do. And next time I have a boat on the water that has the 50 amp in it, I will be monitoring and feeling the wire temperature to see how it holds up. All right, it's going to be a sticky, humid one today. So we got out this morning and Wife and I, we tore down a tree in the front yard a while back, and then we just spread out some seed and some hay and in the direct sunlight, and boy, was it warm. It still is warm. And it's only going to get warmer. It's 77 right now, which isn't very warm, but humidity is 75. And the high today is supposed to be 89. So she's going to be a cooker. So we're trying to get a lot done this morning while the weather is still somewhat tolerable. Now, let's get after that. We'll talk more later about the tachometer situation. I haven't got that far yet. I looked underneath the dash, tried to find wiring diagrams, not having any luck finding a wiring diagram that shows the tach or external gauges. You can find the wiring diagrams for this, but not the external stuff. So I did buy myself, and we're going to try it today. I bought myself a little external multifunction, call it from Run Leader, multifunction meter, and I got to read the instructions. Oh, and you might have been asking, what kind of battery did I put in the down below there? Well, that's a Lifetime LiPo battery. I'll have a link in the description down below for those as well. Actually, so far, been a fantastic battery. They're lightweight. You've seen me put them on the Bass Tracker. I put 2 of them in there because 2 of those batteries weigh less than 1 lead acid battery, so I can maintain 12 volts with 2 batteries hooked in series. Nope. Parallel. Parallel gets you 12 volt to 12 volt. Series would go 2 12s to give you 24. So that's positive to positive to the unit versus positive, negative to the unit. They work pretty good so far. So enough talk. Let's get busy. We got some work to do. I didn't bother getting underneath the trailer and showing you what I did there. Basically just twisted off a couple U-bolts, but here's the damage. These were normally bent down flat against here. This is just a flare out, a formed piece of metal flared out, and this is bent down. So my goal is to straighten these out, square them up, bend them back in place. We can run a bead of weld here. You can see this one even tore through the U-bolt hole. But we're going to go ahead and soak these down with some PB Blaster because I'd really like to be able to get these U-bolts off. And so far, I only have to buy like 2 U-bolts to put it back together. I did go online, I'll admit. My wife is just like, the boss said, just go online and get you some bunks and get it done. But then I looked at online, and I'm like, I was conflicted. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to spend any money yet. So we're just going to soak these down. We're going to give these an hour or so of soak time. And that way I can go do some other things while that's soaking. I could probably do some other stuff on here, but I got somebody coming out in a little bit to pick up some logs, and I got to get the forks on Big Mo so I can load up logs. And then once I got the tractor fired up and greased up, I might as well do some work with it. So that'll be other channel video stuff. So tune into that to see some upcoming stuff I'm doing there. Alrighty, we'll be back when the soaking is done. Okay, I didn't waste you guys' time taking this apart off the trailer, but as you can see, this is pretty well mangled. This part's fine. This is just mangled, and I can't even get my impact on this part of it till I bend it back a little bit. Let's see if I can get it bent out some. I might have to go over to the vise. Just gotta get this bent over enough. There, I think I can get the impact on it now. Let's see. Got to get the other nut out that I already pulled off out of it. Get the chisel and see if we can just pucker it back the other way. That might have actually worked. Okay, we got the brackets separated. Now I'll have to commence the blacksmithing a little bit here, I believe. So we're going to bring the old vise out with the anvil on it. We'll commence the pounding. Got to try to straighten that out. That's got a pretty good whoop in it. All right, folks, we managed to get both of these repaired, welded up, and stuck back in place. Now, I would not recommend welding up a U-boat like I did here. In this case, it's just a supporting bolt, and the rest of the boat's supported, so, you know, there's not a crazy amount of stress here. I would not do it on an axle, U-bolt, or anything like that, but pretty safe to say, I'm pretty sure this will be just as strong as the rest of it, but that was a way for me to repair 2 broken U-bolts and not have to buy 2 just to get these rollers back in place. Now, I did discover something else. I'll show you here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's not over here or over here, it's right here. There's a big old crack right there, and it's punched down. So I think something happened, and this has got a little bit of a stress in this rivet area here. You can see the seam is somewhat separated. So the saga continues. We've got the trailer, let's just say, sorted out, everything except trailer lighting. The wiring I see underneath the trailer looks pretty healthy. It's just a matter of the lights are probably pretty bad, but it's gonna be hard to see it. I'll pull the cover back a little bit. I suspect the limb that came across here and did this luckily missed the control. But see that hole right there? There's a crushed area in the cardboard. Might as well be cardboard now. In the floor. So we're gonna have to cut that back a little bit and take a look at the hull. And we'll probably just drill some holes at the end of the crack and weld it back shut and fix that crack. But can't weld it with all that carpet and stuff in the way, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of minor stripping in that area to gain access to do some repair. Now, there's nothing I'd have loved more than to get this boat out on the water this weekend. It's currently Sunday. We discovered a crack in the boat. All I got left is tachometer, crack in the boat, and tail lights. And a tachometer may be an easy fix, maybe not. This tachometer has in the back of it, I'll just climb in the boat and show you. Now, the upper one of these 2 gauges is the tachometer. See if I can get this so the shadow is not such a big problem. So the upper one is the tach, the bottom one is the speedo, and the 2 lights coming in out of the speedo, I'm guessing they're just power, so you can see lights, because then the hose comes in the middle. So if purple and black are lights, then I go back to the top here, and I can see, I don't know if I keep the light in a position that don't crush me in the face. This here, I'm assuming, is a light bulb. Yeah. So there's a light bulb right there. And so that's the light bulb up top. So that's all lighting up above. And then you've got this one wire. It's the brown wire here. It goes back into the harness. There's a brown, a black, a purple stripe, and a plain white. Now the purple and the plain white, I don't know. Let's see here. Black looks like ground and ground. White is also maybe power and power for, you know, the lights. But then they've got the one brown wire here in this harness. So the question would be is if I could trace this harness. Oh, it goes into some more wires here. There's a lot of extra wire here. Why is that? Well, I guess I'll get the boss out here and see if I can pull this wire, and then she could see if anything's moving. But I think the one brown wire here is your tachometer wire, and it also has this little switch pointed to number 4. And there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has a little chart up here that says 4 is a 12-pole alter. 12-pole alter. I don't know what that means. But if you guys do, send it to me. But this says sender right here next to it. So I don't know what that means, if that's the sender or that's the sensor for the tack. But I have done it before where you actually take this and rotate it with a screwdriver and run it back, because the connections get a little bit wonky, and then it'll all of a sudden start working. So we might just try that today. Why not? Okay, let's get out from under here. I'm dying. So that's that under the dash. My gosh, it's gonna get a warm one today. I'm melting out here. I can't do any more today on this. Well, I could, but it's, like I said, I'm melting. I gotta be careful not to overheat myself. So that brown wire up there is similar to the brown wire I've got right here, that somebody or something, for some reason, is disconnected. It doesn't look like it went. It was just bent up. My guess is it was bent down at some point and went somewhere. So looking in the range of things it could hook to, I just don't understand. But the nice thing is I did order a manual offline for these outboards that should have, it has like 1,300 illustrations. It will tell you everything about this outboard. And the reason I wanted to get that is for other reasons too. I tried to pick up another one of these Tower Powers. Guy has had a boat for sale. Just the boat and motor. Compression is down on one cylinder, it says. I'm like, okay. And it's 115 horse. But that deal hasn't happened yet. Went to go pick it up, got about 10 miles from the house. All of a sudden I seen it disappear off Facebook Marketplace. Then I messaged him. I said, is it gone? And he says, had a family emergency, can't deal with it right now. I'm like, okie doke. Understood. Gave him my phone number and told him whenever you get things cleared up, I'm available most evenings and weekends to holler at me, and I'll arrange whatever I can do to get there when it's convenient for you, type of thing. But it's a boat motor, no trailer, so it's one of those things I got to go and get it, bring it back here, dry dock it, take his trailer back. And it's about 50 miles away, something like that. So I'll do that. It's reasonably priced, so it may not pop up on Facebook Marketplace for more money in the future, or it may not. Depends on how much his phone was blowing up, because he might have gone, oh, I'm too cheap, so I'm going to put it back out there for more money. That happens. I've seen it before. Nothing new there. Alrighty. Well, folks, I want to get in there and edit this, so this will be ready for the next video. Obviously, we got a hole in the bottom of the boat to fix. I do want to check the bilge pump, so I'll pull this out in the yard as well. Plug the plug, put some water in the back, rinse it, run the bilge, make sure it's working, and also to make sure there's no other. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but because I haven't done that before, but maybe I can put some kind of thing into the what do you want to call it? Live well, and because that could be, you could have because you got a hole in the back of the boat here for the live well fill. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure what this one is, not sure what this one is. I know this is just the plug. I don't know if that's the bilge out, because it seems weird that the bilge out would be there when all my other boat, no, bilge out is here. Never mind. So anyway, there's two holes back there. I got to figure out where both of those go. Because if they're hooked to a hose that's not tight, half rotten and whatnot, that could present its own problems, and we don't need water coming in anywhere it's not supposed to. So we'll address that. Just one little thing after another. It's pretty quick to get a lot of stuff done on a boat like this, but then, let's just call it the last 20% takes 80% of your time. We've done a bunch of little detail work here. Anyway, not to belabor the point, but we got some good work done today. And we moved quite decently along on this project. But it ain't going to go in the water this weekend. And hopefully next weekend. So I know a lot of you want to see it on the water. You're excited to see it on the water. You can't be more excited than I am. I want to see this Tower of Power purr. But We gotta address all the issues. I've been looking up online too as far as the maximum RPM, and I think 5,000 to 5,500 is the maximum for these 6 cylinders. If you guys know for a fact, because I don't have my book yet, if you guys know for a fact, leave a comment down below. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will have received my book and I may have the information in hand, and I will share that with everybody out there. All right. We're gonna keep at it and see how much more progress we can make to get this thing on the water safely. I gotta be on there safely. I don't want to be in a situation where if the engine dies and I'm using the trolling motor and I'm sinking faster than I can get to a shoreline, that's all no good. That's no good. I don't want to put myself in that situation. You got to be safe. All right, this is Michael saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. We'll see you on the next video. And stay cold. It's a lot across the nation. There's a lot of hot spells going on and heat advisories. So be careful. Treat each other kind. And we'll see you on the next video if I'm lucky. Bye.